Chapter 1. Discover your true self. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. Before you can become an ultimate male, I would like for you to first get to know yourself. When you know who you are, you know exactly what it is that you want and don't want. You know what you like as well as what you don't like. You know your strengths and your weaknesses. You make better decisions in life based on your values, principles, and beliefs. When you know yourself, you don't allow the opinions of others to affect how you view yourself. Number 1. Know who you are. Many guys are putting too much attention and focus on finding a woman. However, it is far more important for a man to focus on finding himself first. The person who should know you the best is yourself. Your values. Values are what is important to a person. Ask yourself what values are important to you, such as compassion, generosity, and loyalty. Ask yourself what values you and your family members share. You may also have this inside of you without realizing it. If your parents and siblings are generous and kind people, more likely than not, you are going to share those values. Ask yourself what values you want your woman to have. This is important because this is the person who you will spend your life with. If faithfulness is something that is important to you, but your woman is unfaithful, will that be a deal breaker in your relationship? Ask yourself what values you want your children to have. If you have an idea of the values you want your children to have, you can help to instill those values in them. As a result, you help them to become the kind of people you want them to be. Values help to guide a person's life. You make life choices based on your values. For instance, let's say you see someone is stealing money, and that person encourages you to also perform an unethical act. If you have strong values, you will be less likely to get involved in those kinds of unethical activities. Things to do. Before you advance to the next section, write down the following. The 3 most important values you possess. The 3 most important values your woman must possess. The 3 most important values you want your children to possess if you plan to have children. Tolerance versus intolerance. Sometimes we tolerate certain things in our lives because we don't want to hurt people's feelings or we are just too weak to do something about it. That's why it is essential to understand what you can and cannot tolerate. And do not mix the two together. When you confuse the two, you are leading yourself to a place of misery and unwanted suffering. Know that when someone mistreats, insults, or disrespects you, these are things you should not tolerate. They are unacceptable. Do not accept or endure the things that you should not tolerate, especially if they are affecting your self-esteem, confidence, and overall well-being. I remember times when I prioritized other people's feelings and interests over my own well-being. I was trying to please people while I was feeling miserable inside. Even when people did me wrong, I don't want to hurt their feelings, and as a result, I allowed them to step all over me, and that was hurtful. Don't deliberately mistreat others, but always protect your own happiness. If you're allowing others to disrespect and abuse you, this is the time to break that bad habit for good. I know that it is a difficult task, especially when you have allowed someone to mistreat you for quite a long time. It takes courage to stand up for yourself, but if you love yourself enough, you will do what is best for you. You will get out of your comfort zone and make it happen. If you want to live life without restrictions and limitation, you must be willing to do things you haven't done before. What I want for you is to be happy and to live life without being a victim. I was there. I allowed myself to be like a submissive prisoner because I did not know any better. It was like I didn't even know I was trapped in a big prison that I had built for myself. But once I recognized that I was a prisoner and took the courage to step out my comfort zone, the prison, for the first time, I realized that on the other side of my comfort zone is where true freedom and happiness lie. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Plato. Stepping out of a comfort zone is one of the toughest things you will ever do in your life. For me, it took many years. What it takes to step out of your comfort zone is courage. Once you are able to do it for the first time, you will realize that it is actually so easy. The person who has the key to the prison door is yourself. You just need to let go of your fear, step to that door, and open it. Sometimes people don't step out of their comfort zone until they reach the dead end. But don't wait. If you can choose freedom, then choose freedom. Don't waste any of your precious time in prison if you don't have to. Strengths and weaknesses. Know your strengths as well as your weaknesses. They are part of who you are. Determine what you are good at and in which areas you struggle. A person's strength could be that he is a fast learner, and his weakness could be that he has difficulty asserting himself. Identify exactly what your weaknesses are and take action to transform your weaknesses into strength. At the same time, embrace your strength and acknowledge and feel proud about them, because not everyone has the same strengths as you do. Here are 3 ways to identify your weaknesses and strengths. 1. Look back at the times when someone complimented or criticized you. The things that people compliment about you could be your strengths, and the things that people criticize about you could be your weaknesses. Someone may say, "Hey Peter, you did very well conducting that training." Versus, "Hey Peter, why do you always look so insecure talking to women?" You might think what the other person says to you is harsh, but it may have some truth to it. Someone once said to me, "Tu, you have great talent in conducting trainings." Later, I found that to be true. There was a different time at a dining table at an event when someone commented that I was being insecure. My immediate reaction was shock, but I later realized that it had some truth to it. Not everything people say about you is true, and you shouldn't believe everything people tell you about yourself. But what you want to do is evaluate the feedback to discover more about your weaknesses and strengths. If you know what someone say about you is wrong, then don't worry about it. 2. Get feedback. Identify someone you respect, someone whose judgment you trust. Tell that person, "Hey, we have been friends for a while. I wanted to ask you for your honest feedback. What do you think are my weaknesses and strengths?" Once you get the feedback, evaluate yourself and determine whether what that person said about you is true or not. Know that those who give you honest feedback about yourself are doing an honorable thing. They say it directly to you with the intent to help you to grow rather than saying it behind your back to damage your integrity. So don't get offended when someone gives you the honest feedback. It may not be an easy task to ask for another person's opinion about you, but that is one way for you to grow if that is what you really want. When you want to know which areas about you need work toward improvement, rather than wait until you are 60 years old and find yourself still unaware of your weaknesses. 3. Take a personality test. Go online to a reputable personality test website and take a personality test. Take some time to answer the questions. Once you get the result, review the weaknesses and strengths sections, and then analyze the areas where you both excel and fall short. Things to do. List 3 of your weaknesses. List 3 of your strengths. Identify what you can do to turn your weaknesses into your strength. Know your talents and skills. I have always been impressed by men who possess talents and skill. It is something about their talents and skill are unique to them, and not everyone possesses the same thing. One day, while practicing Atianza Kali, a type of Filipino martial art, I saw a young man who was practicing Muay Thai a few feet away from me. I was very impressed with his Muay Thai kicking and punching moves. It was jaw-dropping, and I thought, wow, that's such an art. So I couldn't resist and decided to attend a Muay Thai class. It was the greatest thing I did that day. Without even realizing it, your talents and skill may inspire others. Seeing someone who can do something you would love to do inspire you and help you to realize that the same thing is possible for you. You then take action to pursue your dreams to achieve the same thing the other person did. Identify and write down your top 3 talents and skills. Embrace them and be proud of them. Write down one particular skill you want to develop and learn how to master that skill. Personalities and character traits. Know your personality and character traits. Are you someone who is shy, quiet, and overly trustworthy? No matter how handsome, smart, skillful you are, if you don't have a good personality and genuine character traits, it will be very difficult for you to become the ultimate male and attract the most irresistible woman. I often encounter men who are physically attractive, but when they lack good personalities and character traits, it is a big turn off. As a result, I don't see them as attractive. Besides your appearance, the most important aspect women look for in a man are your personality and character traits. That's why you sometimes see beautiful, attractive women end up with average-looking men. You may say that these average-looking men have status and money. Nonetheless, there is something this average-looking man can do to attract quality women that some other men can't. Sometimes, people who don't have good personal qualities don't even realize they are lacking in those areas. No one ever pointed out to them, or they just did not care to make a change. In order to attract your dream woman, you must become the kind of person who you want to attract. That means if you want a high-quality woman, you must become a high-quality man. It would be difficult to become the ultimate male you want to be if you don't know what aspect of yourself you need to improve. When a man possesses an amazing personality and character, it is a choice he has made for himself. He disciplines himself to become the best person he can be. No matter how nice-looking you are, looks will eventually fade away. What you will always have is the attractiveness inside of you. When you have a great personality, others enjoy being around you. No one wants to be around grumpy, rude, and negative people with unpleasant behaviors. It does not matter what books you read, what courses you take, or what techniques or skill you learn to pick up women. If you don't have a good personality, character traits, and common sense, it will be almost impossible to attract and date the most irresistible woman. Here are 4 ways to improve your personality and character traits. 1. Develop a sense of self-awareness. Be more aware of yourself. When you're around other people, pay attention to how they respond to your body language and what you say. If you say something to a lady and she gives you a weird look or an uncomfortable vibe, don't just continue on with that same topic. Adjust or end the conversation accordingly. 2. Develop good self-reflection. In order to improve yourself, you need to practice self-reflection. Evaluate yourself after each interaction you have. Ask yourself, was that the right attitude and action? What could I have done differently? Did what I said make sense, offend anyone, or gain me more respect? Self-reflection is like a mirror. Without it, you cannot see yourself. If a person doesn't evaluate his own characters and action to identify what is right and wrong, what is appropriate and inappropriate, or what needs to be improved, then how could he become the person he actually wants to be? By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest, Confucius. Take time to reflect daily on your own behavior and character to determine how you can become a better version of you. This is something I practice regularly, and it has helped me to grow as an individual. Know that you are not perfect. It is okay to let go and forgive your mistakes. What is important is that you are learning and becoming a better person. 3. Identify what you like and dislike in others. If you don't like a characteristic someone has, then avoid adopting those character traits yourself. Perhaps you find yourself enjoying the company of certain individuals. Ask yourself what it is about those particular people that you find to be so enjoyable. Pick up and cultivate those attributes in your own life. 4. Identify what you like and dislike in yourself. Identify which of your personality and character traits you like and dislike. Ask, what is it about me that I don't like and would like to change? Number 2, know your self-worth. When you know your self-worth, you don't settle for less. If a woman chooses not to be with you, view it as her loss, not yours. Don't give women too much credit while lowering your standards or thinking less of yourself. You are a worthy man of great value. Any woman should feel lucky to have you in her life. When a man values himself, a woman will learn to value him. A woman will not see the worth in a man until he shows her how much he is worth. If he does not know his self-worth, she won't know it either. Having your own self-worth does not cost you a dime, so don't compare yourself to other people. Do not allow yourself to think that you need a great deal of money to increase your self-worth. There is a difference between your self-worth and your net worth. Your qualities. Know what qualities you have that make you irreplaceable. Perhaps you are caring, thoughtful, understanding, and intelligent. Your qualities belong to you, and not everyone has the exact same qualities you do. You may have more or fewer qualities in you than some other people. Your accomplishment. Know exactly what accomplishment you have attained over the years. You may have achieved big or small accomplishment. It could be that you have reached a great point in your career, host some major community events, participate in charity works, or contribute your time and resources back to society. Now, let's take a moment to identify your accomplishment. What you have to offer. If you don't know the value you are adding into a woman's life, then how is she going to see the value you are offering her? Why would she want to choose you over other men? It is like a job interview. You see an excellent job opening and you want that position. At the same time, there are tons of applicants who also are applying for that same opportunity. Now, the employer has to pick the best candidate who matches what they are seeking. Ask yourself why they would choose you over the rest of the other applicants. The answer cannot be, well, I'm just a typical nice guy. Maybe they randomly picked me for no reason. This concept applies similarly to dating. Why would a woman pick you over the other guys? You must approach a woman with confidence, knowing what you have to offer. One of the mistakes I see men make is that when they see an attractive woman, they eventually talk to her and think if they say enough of something, eventually some magical spell will happen and a romance will begin. You must know where you stand and where she stands. If she has almost everything a man would dream of, but you don't have much to offer, then the question is, why you? If a company offers a job salary of $100K, realistically, a lot of people would want that big paycheck, but only the most qualified person will get it. If a person knows he doesn't have the skills and qualification for the job, what he needs to do is to work on himself before he can apply for that position. The same concept can be applied to the most attractive, irresistible, highest quality woman. Work on yourself first to become the ultimate male and let the pretty girls flock to you instead. Things to avoid. Remember, never approach a woman by showing her that you just want something from her. Instead, show that you are interested in getting to know her as a person. Allow her the opportunity to discover the kind of man you are and add some value first before you try to take anything from her. It is a big turn-off for a woman when a guy approaches her with the impression of, "Hey, gorgeous, I want you. You don't need to know who I am, and I don't need to know who you are. Just be my lover." Really? Come on. It doesn't work that way. It is like you're forcing someone to buy a product without letting the other person see the value of it. Things to do. Identify what you have to offer a woman. Some of the things you may offer a woman could include your fun and amazing self, or being a supportive, loving, and caring man. Number 3, know who you want to become. What type of man do you want to be? Someone others respect and admire? Or does it really matter? If you're reading this book, I am convinced that you want something more than just being an ordinary guy. What do you want in life as a man? Is having a stable career and being able to take care of your family important to you? Before a woman can follow you, you must know where you are going. Have a vision for your life and create goals to accomplish that vision. Always strive to become a better person each and every day. Things to do. What are 3 words that describe the person you want to become? Identify 3 male role models around you who inspire you. Then engage with them on a weekly basis. Learn great skills and pick up positive character traits from them. Number 4, know the difference between a man and a boy. A real man does not think or act like a boy. In order to become a real man, you must let go of the boy inside of you and choose to be a man. Just being an adult doesn't mean that person is a real man. At times, I saw men who were in their 30s and 40s still acting like boys. I didn't perceive them as real men. Some just said anything that came to their minds without being mindful of how others would perceive them. And in some, I didn't see the masculine energy of a man. On the other hand, I encountered younger men that portrayed themselves more like grown men, showing their consideration and thoughtfulness. In my mind, I said to myself, this guy must have good parents who set great examples and taught him well. When you are a real man, you know the right thing to say and do. You are responsible for your own actions and words. You don't ignore or run away from problems life throws at you. Instead, you handle them like a grown adult. Understand the difference between a man and a boy, because not every male is a real man. Real men don't wear shorts on a daily basis when they go out, except for the gym, the lake, or informal events. Real men don't wear cartoon character shirts. They don't act goofy and childish. Every time I encounter guys who behave like children, I don't feel attracted to them. I can't be impressed by their behaviors. Even worse, some of them made me feel like I'm a guy. They treated or talked to me like I was one of the guy's friends. Some guys even made me feel like I was their mother. If I want a child, I will go adopt a son instead. Real women are attracted to the masculinity of real men, not the childishness of a boy in a full-grown man's body. That is just very unattractive. Imagine being a mature man and seeing a grown woman talking and behaving like an irresponsible child. Will you find that attractive? Will you consider marriage with this woman? Would she be a likely choice to be the mother of your children? The answer is absolutely not. Until a woman is able to distinguish between a real man and a boy, she will continue to wonder why the guy she is with doesn't treat her right. She may start to wonder and question her own self-worth. Until a man is able to distinguish between a real man and a boy, he will remain a boy. Once a person realizes what a real man is and decides and commits to being a real man, he will eventually become the man he truly wants to be. Some of the things boys do that real men don't. Thinks only of his own pleasure, criticizes and belittles his woman, blames others and makes excuses for his actions, doesn't know or have his priorities in order, doesn't recognize a woman's worth and takes her for granted, breaks promises and doesn't keep his word, makes his lady jealous of other women, is not reliable. Things to do. Observe 3 to 5 males around you. Do you perceive them as real men or boys? What is it about them that classify each of them as a man or a boy? Identify whether you are being perceived as a man or a boy. Identify anything about you that you must change to become a real man. Number 5. Know your passions and purpose. Every single second of your time counts. You only have one life to live, so make the best of it. Don't waste time doing meaningless things that don't add value into your life. Identify what you are most passionate about. If you had all the time and resources in the world, how would you spend your time? Some men want to make a positive impact on the world, and many of them contribute valuable work that positively impacts the lives of others. Without someone else's amazing invention, we wouldn't have the advancement in luxury we currently do. One of the greatest things you can do is to be a creator of your own work. If you're passionate about something, follow your dream. If you consistently take action and strive toward your goals, it's just a matter of time you will make it. What is your purpose in life? What is the meaning of life to you? Work, eat, and sleep? Or doing something more meaningful with your time? Our greatest passion and purpose could be rooted in our greatest pain. Identify your personal passion and purpose and let that be your main focus rather than putting all your thoughts and energy into chasing women. Once you live life with purpose, you will realize the importance of your time. You don't have hours to waste because you have a critical task and mission to complete. You will also realize the value of your life and existence. Things to do. Take a moment to think through and identify your passion and purpose. What will you do differently with your time in life? Number 6. Know what you want in an irresistible woman. On the battlefield, a warrior needs a good horse to fight along with him. He must have the ability to identify a good, loyal horse and train it well. If not, the horse may turn against him, run away, or leave him in the middle of the battlefield. Similarly in life, a man needs a good, faithful woman to fight alongside him. He needs her support. Know exactly what is it you are looking for in an ideal woman. When you know what you want, you will be able to identify whether a lady is the one for you. An irresistible woman possesses a lot of great qualities. You must know what an irresistible truly means to you. Does it just mean that she is sexy and beautiful, or are there other attributes that matter more? Here, I want you to identify what you want in an irresistible woman. 1. Qualities. What are the 3 most desirable qualities you want in your woman? 2. Passions and purpose. Is it important for her to have a passion and purpose? Do they need to be similar to yours? If you want to make a positive impact on the world, would you want your woman to do the same thing? 3. Talents and skills. Are there any specific skills or talents she needs to acquire? 4. Hobbies and interests. Do her hobbies need to be similar to yours? For instance, if you love traveling and volunteer work, does she also need to have these hobbies and interests as you do? If she doesn't, will that affect the quality of your relationship? 5. Fitness and health. Does she need to stay active and have healthy eating habits? If she has everything you want in a woman, but does not take a good care of her body and health, is that going to be an issue for you? 6. Lifestyles. Does her lifestyles need to be similar to yours? If she is high maintenance, will that be okay with you? Things to do. Identify the 3 most important and must-haves in your dream woman. Write down what an irresistible woman means to you. How to identify if she is the ideal woman. Ask yourself the following question to determine whether she is the one for you or not. 1. What type of relationship are you looking for? What type of relationship is she looking for? 2. Do both of you see a possible future with each other? 3. Do you two share similar values, beliefs, and views about life? 4. Aside from your level of attraction to her, does she have the qualities and the most important 3 things you are looking for in a woman? 5. Are you both okay with the age range between the 2 of you? 6. Are you both okay with each other's religious beliefs? 7. Do you feel happier and does your life hold more meaning since you have known her? 8. Does she make you happy? 9. Will you be happy with her? 10. Will she support your passions and goals in life? 11. Is she into self-development? Does she strive to become the best versions of herself? Do you see that you can grow together with her? 12. How do you spend your time? How does she spend her time? 13. What is it about her that you dislike? Is this something you will be able to tolerate? Can she change? Remember, if you just want casual dating or an open relationship, then you know to not mess with a lady who's looking for something serious and exclusive. Don't waste your time in the wrong relationship. It will lead you to nowhere but pain. You will end up hurting her as well as yourself. As an ultimate male, you have passion and purpose in life that are far greater than a woman. You don't need to cheat on or mislead someone. Be honest with a woman about your intentions. If you cannot give a woman what she wants, then be upfront about it. A woman will truly appreciate an honest man. If she doesn't accept the type of relationship you offer, then she is not the right woman for you. Don't mislead a lady into a relationship, take the best of her, and then leave her behind with a broken heart and damaged self-esteem. You are better than that. If you ever find your dream woman, know what is most important to you versus your temporary temptation. Be aware and in control of your thoughts and action. Know what you are doing. Know your weaknesses as a man. And don't put yourself in risky situations that will lead you to nowhere but regrets. You can either control your own life to protect your beautiful relationship and family, or allow yourself to really mess it up. Being faithful is not an easy task for a man to do, but it is a commitment that you must make for yourself to gain the ultimate lasting pleasure and happiness. Have your priorities straight. I had known men who cheated on their woman and they suffer big time. I remember conversation with men who claimed they were players. They had multiple women on the side while already in a relationship with someone else. One guy in his 40s or 50s said he cheated on every woman he had a relationship with, every single one of them. Some of these men later realized they had taken the woman for granted and lost someone who was extremely valuable to their lives. They were focused on temporary pleasure, which later create intolerable long-term pain. After being with so many women, they eventually realized that the best intimacy to have is with the woman they deeply love. Eventually, they understood what was most important to their lives and no longer desired the lifestyle of a player. If you ever encounter a situation that might lead you to commit wrongful acts, remember what is important to you. Once you have the thought about your temptation, substitute that thought with an alternative. Think about or do something else. Once you commit a wrongful act, you cannot go back to undo it. Earlier, I mentioned why Jay and Joe were not the ideal or ultimate males. It was because they were unfaithful men. There were so many qualities in them that make them irresistible. But without loyalty, a man cannot be an ultimate male. What good can an unfaithful man bring into a woman's life? In my opinion, a man hasn't passed the true test of manhood until he develops the self-control to be faithful to one woman. Any male can cheat, but only real men have what it takes to be faithful. Tony Gaskin.